Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Morning, good morning. We're cute. We're looking at ourselves on TV, and then there we are. There. We are. Okay. Perfect. All right. I always have to check to make sure we're on. So we're on now, and they can hear us. Hi, Christine.
Hi, honey.
I'm so glad that you decided to join me on our friendiversary.
It is. I know. How cool was that?
Yeah, it's our friendiversary on Facebook today, me and Christine. 8 years.
8 years.
8 years. 8 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I saw that. That's so cool.
yeah, I think
Divine order, everybody.
right? I think it was 8 years ago, and it would have had to have been Art of Feminine Presence, right, in Michelle's class, which originally started in her home, not here. But if you want to know more about that, then you need to know more about Unleash Your Life Studios here. For Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington does all her practices here, and we're located at 7220 North 16th Street, Building A1. For our particular time period on Sundays, you'll see the girls on the door. But the rest of the time, you'll see Unleash Your Life on the window. And we are here we're between Glendale and Northern. And this is where Michelle does all her work. You can find her at unleashyourlife.us. And she has events there. You can also rent out the space, which has an amazing energy. So if you're looking for a place to do your teachings or have an experience or an event that has amazing energy, this is the place. And it's reasonably priced. So just to let you know all that.
Unleashyourlife.us.
Yes, I did say that.
Okay.
Unleashyourlife.us, yes. And so my guest today is Christine Dahl. And that's the real Christine Dahl, not the unreal one, right? And unfortunately, we just had the regular picture. She never did get me a chicken picture to put up for the thing. But so our lovely Reverend Dr. Michelle, we celebrated her birthday last weekend. She's out celebrating her birthday this weekend. So Christine and I get to celebrate International Peace Day with you on the sofa.
On the sofa.
Yes. So I'm going to pray us in, and then we'll get started. So let's take a breath into this peace, into this time that is all that is, knowing and affirming that there is one life, one presence, one heartbeat, one breath. And that is the divine. That is God. That is source energy. That is universal compassion, love. That is us. And as each of us, this individuation
of love and peace and joy that is the divine goes forth, I know and affirm that this day brings peace. It is a declaration that it is International Peace Day, and this I declare in my heart. And as I declare this for me, I declare this for the world. And I send blessings out to leaders and teachers of all faiths, all countries, everywhere, knowing and affirming that in this day, this one moment in time, that each and every heart is filled with the peace of God. This knowing flows through each cell, affirming that we are one. And with this, I am so grateful. I am grateful for this truth, for this knowing. I say thank you, God, thank you, life, thank you, universe. And I let it go into the law that only says yes. In faith, truth, and trust, I call it good. Together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Ah, yes, and so it is.
Yeah.
Peace. What takes away your peace? Since we were talking about that.
You know, I think it's important. I mean,
I do.
you know, it's interesting because in Unity, I originally was Unity, licensed Unity teacher for many, many years. In Unity, the thing that I have lived with my entire life is nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. So, is that true?
I like that.
Nothing
Is that
can
true?
disturb the
Nothing-
calm peace of my soul.
Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And I think I appreciate you asking that question. I think it's important for us to address what disturbs my peace. We're talking about harmony. So when you're talking about harmony, the flip side of harmony is discord.
Yes.
So what disturbs your peace, my darling?
Oh, I see how you turn that around. Yeah.
Wasn't that nice?
Yes, that was very
Very
good.
trained, everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
Trained, skilled life coach, just in case you were wondering.
So for me, good morning, welcome, come on in. No problem. For me, what disturbs my peace can be anything. If I am not in alignment with my source, with myself, I can let anything disturb my peace. However, my caveat there is I also can rein it back in just as quick. So I have had moments where I'm like, oh, I can't believe blah, 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 blah. You know, like, because then I realize, wait a minute, this isn't where I want to be. But the quote that you gave was about the calm peace of my soul. Now, does that get disrupted? No. Because the truth of my being, regardless of chaos happening, is that I am one with the all, and there is nothing else. So the peace in my soul is always.
You know, I love what you're saying, which brings me to, and I love to ask questions because I feel like I learn when I ask, and I ask you because I have tools, and what will disturb my peace? I can give you a great example. The news can disturb my peace. The news.
Someone
Yeah,
telling me about
Somebody
the news.
telling me about the news. But what my question is to you, to all of us, and I can share with you mine, it's like, what brings me back to my peace? What tools do I have? And I think it's so important for us to have tools.
Yes.
Like, what are the tools that you use? What you use? Like, what tools do you use to bring you back to your peace? And I think as I was thinking about harmony, and I love this, it's harmony surrounds me. I am at peace with what is. And what I did, you gave this to me a couple weeks ago, and I started saying to myself, when harmony surrounds me, I am at peace with what is. When harmony surrounds me, I am at peace with what is. And the tools that I have for me, number one, and number two, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is gratitude is my superpower.
Oh, yes.
So when something disturbs my peace, I come back to my superpower, which is gratitude. And the other one is a training that I did 5 years ago during the pandemic, because I'm a massage therapist, and I was like, I can't do that right now. So I learned a tool through HeartMath Institute, which is, and I thought about, when I think about harmony, I think of the word coherence, which is the HeartMath word, which is the balance between mind, body, and spirit. So when we're in coherence, it's simply we're in balance. You're talking about that balance, Jeannie. Like, you're talking about the balance between mind, body, and spirit. And how do we do that? There's a simple breathing technique, and it's just slowing your breath. Breathing deeper than normal, exhaling deeper than normal, and focusing on gratitude.
I love that. And I love that you brought up tools. I also recently, as in this week, went to a workshop about warrior goddess training with Heather Ashonara. And one of the tools in this is reframing the stories we tell ourselves. So that's when I was saying earlier about how I can be out of peace and then back in. So having an out of peace experience, or an out of body experience, right?
Awesome.
Having an out of peace experience is generally based on the story I'm telling myself. Like, that whatever in my mind, I'm calling them exclamation point, just cut me off. They aren't looking out. They're an idiot. They're a this, that, whatever, because they almost killed me. I actually had that experience last night where somebody whipped in front of me and I was almost in an accident that I was aware. And that feeling you get inside when you have a near miss, I was experiencing that. And then I said, okay, tell the different story. Tell a different story. He wasn't trying to cut you off. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom. Anybody else ever have that experience? Like, if I don't get somewhere real quick, there's going to be issues. Maybe there was an urgent care there too, where we were going. Maybe he needs to go to the urgent care. Tell a different story to yourself, because facts are what just happened, right? That was the fact. I got cut off and had a near miss. What I tell myself about being cut off in the near miss is where I'm going to experience the feelings in my body. So now, if I tell a different story, the feelings change. And then I was saying, I can go from out of peace back to peace by having that tool.
Please.
Yeah,
I can talk
just,
loud.
well, it's just for, it's for the online.
So that people can hear you.
Yeah.
Miss Ann's going to speak.
I had that very experience Friday night. The traffic around the arena was insane after the game, and the people that were in the car with me were getting very agitated at, we can't get through this light because there's people across the intersection, and it's like they kept getting angry. And finally, I just said, the tool that works for me is to start letting people in. Like, I'm going to stop and let someone in, because the agitation that I feel from the way other people are driving, again, barometer for my serenity, I can turn that around just by using a different tool and just saying, okay, I'm going to be generous here and assume that people need to get in. I mean, it shifted everything. didn't necessarily lower their anxiety, but mine didn't raise any.
There you go. That's definitely.
So what I want to acknowledge that Anne's saying is, so you're essentially coming from love versus fear. I mean, think about, there's really, I don't want to go into the depths of psychology, but we're going to either coming from love or we're going to come from fear. And so when you're cut off in traffic, what's the first thing that's going to happen? We're going to be afraid.
Yeah, I'm not in love with traffic.
No. And who's in love with somebody cutting you off? Somebody who I perceive, and I like what you said, like that jerk just did such and such, and traffic I think is probably the best one. Like that's the one that'll get me the most. And it was so cool. I have a cousin, Damien's cousin, my husband's cousin, but by marriage. I love her so much. She said. She gave me this tool in traffic, and I love it because a lot of us want to give people a sign when they go by, and it's it's not a wave. Let's just put it that way. And so she said it was so cool. She's like, just say this: "You go, guy," like you go, girl, like you go. Like they're obviously needing to get somewhere.
Yeah, there
you go. And it's helped me so much because, rather than screaming and, doing a different sign, it's like, you go, go.
Right.
You obviously need to get there faster than I do. And I love what you're talking about. Like you're coming from compassion. You're coming from, hey, we all got to get out of here.
Right.
And, I want to bring it back to peace because if you think about, I've been thinking about peace versus conflict because it's so easy to let the conflict into our life. And how do we bring it back to peace? Somebody was talking about, I saw it on Facebook, it was, negativity is going to come at us. It just is. Like discord, it's going to come at us. And I love this, I believe his name was, well, he's the water guy. Was it Asui Umoto? Forgive me
Yes.
if I saw him. The celebrity, and the coolest thing that he did, and I love this so much. Were you there? Mama Rivka was there. I want to acknowledge her. He had a tuning fork on one end of the stage, and he had another tuning fork. He had like a C and an E over there, and he had a C and an E here, and he said, I'm going to play my C. And so he played the C fork, and the C would ring down there, but not the E. And, play the E would ring. And he said, that's vibration. So if I'm vibrating, so why we can get triggered, if we're vibrating at that level of anger and somebody comes at us, it's going to trigger that anger response in us. So the more we can find ways to shift our frequency, to respond, with an E instead of a C, like you're saying, came from a different place, and I love that.
I love that what you were bringing up there about the frequency and tuning into. We've both been trained through positive intelligence, and I was just thinking about the saboteurs. How with a saboteur, and a saboteur is something that we all have, right? Judge, victim, perfectionist. There's people pleaser, right? Like there's a ton of them, right? And when one of those are activated and we're with someone else who has a similar, or maybe not, but they'll respond to yours. Like if I'm being a people pleaser, well, the controller in someone else might jump up, and since I'm a people pleaser, I'm going to respond. They're going to respond. We're going to feed off of each other.
Yeah.
When you learn your sage powers of compassion, of activation, of integration, when we learn those things to be in a safe space for someone, then when somebody's in such saboteur mode, not saying you're going to keep them from their saboteur. However, if you stay in sage power, then their saboteur doesn't trigger you and can bring theirs down. So, you know, like you said, it might not have stopped everybody's anxiety for them, but it did not increase it either.
It didn't increase yours.
Right, and you were able to stay in that space.
I love that.
And I always use traffic, and I really don't have a whole you know, I love to drive, and I generally don't have a road rage type of thing. However, I do know that most people identify with that. So it's easier to say versus give out something that might have a side, right? So that's why I generally use the traffic.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plenty of topics you could create sides on and have a part in here, but we're not going to do that today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, traffic's a great
We're
one.
not
Yeah.
going to do that today. Hi, Evie, by the way.
Hi.
This is Evie.
And let's face it, we've always been on the other side. We were the one who did the cutting off. We were the one who didn't let traffic in. So what I like to frame it as is that could have been me doing that to them, and I wouldn't want them to do something to me to be a road rage incident. Because we're always, I don't want to say always, many times I've been in a hurry and I probably cut some off and didn't even realize it.
Right.
Or I've been stuck in traffic and couldn't this person just let me out for a change? So you just have to say everybody is human and they're going to do what they're going to do, and I do the same thing they do too.
Right.
So I can't let myself be angry at what they're doing, not to me, but just because they're doing what they're doing.
So your tool is really identifying with them, and that could be me as well. Like I've done that, like owning that part of you that has done that in the past. That's a good one right there. Is owning. I keep hearing it in my mind. It's like stopping for a moment and just owning that part of us. Like we've all been ragers. Is there anybody in here? Because I want to know. I want to know.
True. Have you
Who's
ever?
never had a rage moment?
Have you never had a rage moment?
Have you ever gotten? You might not. You're only 15.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
not.
just checking. Have you ever had a rage moment? I know, but he's only 15, but like, you know.
And maybe you never will. I mean, I love that.
Maybe like once or twice.
Yeah.
There's moments where it's just like, I
He's
can't do
human.
this.
Yeah.
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 So just acknowledging that, I love that we
Yeah.
ask you, because you know we all have that part of us, and I think it's like being willing to look and own, hey, that could be me. I love that, Evie. Like that could be me in that truck. Oh God. So my husband, he has when I met my husband, this is why I fell in love with my husband. If he's watching, this is why I fell in love with you, Damien. He knows this. I've said it. He drove, and we still have a 1992 Suburban, like those big ass Suburbans, and it had a American flag on the front. I'm just like, there's my man. And what was fun was that was back when gas was like $5.50 or whatever. And so we traded cars. So I got to drive that beautiful 1992. I call him Slim. So we still call him Slim. And I tell you what, I feel so powerful in that truck. Like nobody messes with me. So I'd be just like on the freeway, like, yeah, pull out in front of me. Like, get too close.
Oh, I love that.
So my Slim is my alter ego. Like when I get to get in him, I get to own that. So just, that's the other piece, is recognizing. That's the other thing I really think about. Harmony comes from the recognition that we're all one.
Yes.
And I had an image. I was sharing this with Damien, speaking of Damien, about an orchestra. We all have parts to play in that orchestra. And I was telling him, I was like, what do you do when, like, you're in an orchestra and you're just all playing Brahms, and you're just like, you're playing your oboe and this is playing their flute, and you're playing the drums, and somebody walks from off stage and like bangs a cymbal in your face. I mean that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how you choose to respond.
Hang on.
Yeah. We
My
have to have your wisdom.
We need
online.
Mama Rivka's
Things going
wisdom.
through my mind. I'm Mama Rivka.
Mama Rivka.
Number one, rage is a decision to respond inappropriately. And we know when stop it by taking a deep breath and centering yourself. What triggers one person might not trigger the next person.
Yes.
I use driving as a zen.
See,
Because it
so
forces
that's,
me
yeah,
to be
that's
in
your
the
zen.
now. And if other people are upset or not upset, I slow down, I let people in, I stop, I give food to the people that say I'm hungry on the side, I don't give money.
Mhm.
But I'll go get a meal and come back. I choose driving as one of my meditation things. I recently lost a very dear friend, and I spent the day at the hospital, and the family let me down in how they responded or didn't respond to the events that day. And I was so angry.
So that
I
was
had
your
not been
trigger,
angry.
was, yeah.
And as I left, she took her last breath at 6:55 p.m. I'd been there since 12:30 in the morning. Her family showed up at 10 after 6 that night. And I was enraged that they treat her that way. And as I got out of the hospital and got into my car that I had backed up next to a wall, I'm going home. And I pulled out and I scraped the front of my car, like the back of my car, just against the wall. And then I started to laugh. I said, you know what? I'm going to look at it and laugh and think of her every day. My brother said, I'll fix it for you. No, I don't want it fixed. It's just, we have choices as to how we reframe things. And my Mama Rivkaism for happy, yes, we're all people pleasers. That's why we do what we do. But I have learned that happy means how about people pleasing yourself? If I ain't good,
How about
About
people
pleasing
pleasing
yourself.
I
yourself?
love
Happy.
that.
happy,
Yes.
that's one of the
I
Mama
love it.
Hold
Rivkaisms.
on, let me write that down.
I'm making a book and cards and whatever, I hope.
I love it.
But if I don't take care of me, if I don't have a smile in my heart, then I can't get on a vibration to help or try to help. I can smile and hug all I want to, but if the person is not in that mood because they would rather be in their wallowing, I have to allow that too. So when they give me their negativity, I put myself in neutral for them. It's not my job to make you happy. I'm either going to enhance your life or let you enhance mine. But I'm accountable for my own place on this planet. And it's been a very enlightening time for me as I get older. I wish I'd known this crap when I was younger.
You
And the
know,
word shit by the means shift how I think. So having a shit day, start over.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
beautiful.
That's what
Here you go.
we do. Yeah.
See, your presence matters, Mama Rivka. I invited her, and look at
You
the
too.
beautiful thing that brought.
You bring me smiles every morning.
So, what,
Yes.
Mama Rivka, and what, for those of you, we may have a big old audience out there that doesn't know what the chicken
Right,
reference
they don't.
means.
That's true. They might not know. There's a whole audience that doesn't know about the chicken feed. Oh my goodness.
Christine the chicken lady.
So,
What was the acronym for shift?
Shift how I think. I have
shift
a
how
whole-
I think.
Oh
But
man.
we won't
I know,
necessarily use the word
We
out
can
loud.
say
but
shit.
Shift,
Oh,
shit, okay.
I say it a
We're
lot.
not censored here. Shift how, oops, shift how I think. Shift how I think.
Yeah. Stop and begin again.
Thank you, sweetheart. This is beautiful. So what is the story? I was going to, so she wanted a picture. Damien again, out in the yard, we're chasing a chicken because I'm like, Damien, I have to take a picture of my chicken right there. I have the most beautiful bruise on my leg.
Who was it that you were chasing?
Okay. So I was chasing Ash and Cinder because
Oh, okay.
Ash lets you.
yeah, Ash lets me pick her up. So for those of you that don't know, I have 8 chickens. Damien and I have 8 chickens, but they're really my chickens, and he knows that. I do a morning, I call it a chicken feed. So I get up every morning and out in the yard, just do a live Facebook feed of me letting out the chickens, and I love that because actually I love how that creates harmony in my life, because these chickens every morning, it's like the first day that they ever were alive. Like, hello?
Yeah.
Like, wow. I get to run out that door, and I've got some food over there, and you know, they all have their little personalities. And so yes, I announce each name. We have Ash, Cinder, Greta, Sophia, Dorothy, Cece, and Millie. You know, it's so cute. Mama.
Dorothy's my favorite.
Dorothy.
Yeah, Dorothy's my
I still
favorite.
miss B.
Miss. Okay, so
I do miss Miss B.
we have the cute. Anyway,
That's all right.
I digress.
That's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
We do this all
We're
the
gonna
time.
stop that. But anyway, I tried to catch a chicken and was gonna take a picture, and it didn't go well. So
So we just got the regular
we
picture.
just got the
online.
regular
Yeah.
picture of me standing in front of my mammoth lantana outback. But anyway, and you know, I think that just what we're doing here, like, I want you to just take a second in this room, and those of you out there, just feel your vibration right now. I see smiles. I see peace. I feel peace. And peace, you know, peace, I was a school teacher, so I'm like, peace is a verb. It's not a noun.
Right.
Meaning, like, we create peace. Like, how do we create peace? By our peace. And the more peace that we can be, because it is a frequency, and it brings me back to one other thing I just want to make sure that I mention. It's called the Global Coherence Pulse. There's a group online. You can look them up. It's called the Global Coherence Pulse. And once a month, I believe it's the third Saturday of the month, there's a gathering on Zoom, and the whole group is about creating global coherence. The belief HeartMath has is that what we feed the field matters.
Yes. Yes, and I have joined in on that on occasion.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there, because when you think about what's going on in the world right now, and peace isn't just the lack of war and conflict.
Right.
You've got some things written
I
down
do,
I want
yeah.
you to read.
Yeah. So the first part, harmony surrounds me. You just said this was about the atmosphere. You know, we choose that to breathe it in, to talk about it, to change the field, right? That harmony. And peace isn't just the absence of conflict, but alignment with us, with ourselves, with the divine in ourselves, and the alignment with reality, and that not being a passive thing. See, I think a lot of times acceptance of, you know, as every people know, I'm in recovery, so the serenity prayer is like a big one there, and, you know, accept the things I cannot change is not a passive statement.
Right.
It's an active, courageous statement to be aware that there are things that are beyond my control, and so accepting them and telling a different story about them, you know, that is where I can stay in alignment and not just be passively having everything happen to me.
You're not just being a doormat.
Exactly.
That's not a doormat situation.
It's not a doormat
Happening
situation.
to you.
Right.
Nothing's happening to me.
Absolutely.
And I will fight that sometimes, you know, especially, I have a few friends that when they question me in a certain way, I just want to, like, stop talking to them, you know, like, what? Why are you talking to me? And they'll say, well, what do you think about that? Like, why is that happening? Do you think that's related to ABC happening in your life? And I'll be like, no, not at all. No, shut up.
I don't want to hear it.
I can't even hang up the phone anymore in a good way. Yeah, you know, and these are people with love, right? I'm not talking about people that are like blaming or shaming, but just asking me questions that, you know, so I can ask myself these questions and help come back into alignment of where I want to be, you know. And it's a constant thing throughout the day. You know, it's not a one and done, you know. It's not like, oh, I did my yoga, I did my bike, I did my peace, I'm good. I'm done for the day. It's a constant reminder that I have to bring myself back into alignment, back into warrior goddess position.
I love that. What else you got there?
What else I have? I have resistance fuels our stress, acceptance softens our heart, and opens us up to creative solutions.
Ooh.
So I thought a lot about when I'm resisting something, whether it is the acknowledgement that I had something to do with whatever my problem is, or I'm resisting the news, like
Whatever.
yeah, whatever it is, then if I can have that acceptance, then there's a different vibration. There's a different frequency happening when I'm in acceptance that softens my stance with the world. And when that happens, I am more creative on how I can solve things or how I can view things or even just how I can be with what's uncomfortable to me.
It's really interesting when you said that. Michael Beckwith, most of you know who he is, beautiful, beautiful soul. When you said something, because I was thinking about the news, he's like, the news is nothing more than a call to prayer.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Well,
like
I'm
that.
gonna disagree,
Oh.
because what I find the news to be is an editorialist.
So,
And a commentary, it's not a call to prayer. Prayer is what we're supposed to do anyhow.
all right, let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's hear
Let's
it.
go here.
The news is only gonna give you what you're willing to take from it. So don't watch it. Because they stopped reporting just the facts and started making editorialism and trying to sway my thinking and trying to sway your thinking. And very honestly, I have recently had a very deep conversation with somebody because my head is still caught. Today is September 21st, the summer solstice, 2025. No, it's October 7th. 500. And okay, so I have
it.
that.
I
I
got
can't not let go of it. So to me, it's still October 7/57, 2023. That's just a catalyst for me. And I was saying to somebody some very angry things, and I don't like to get angry. And I said, God doesn't love everybody. He can't to let this type of thing happen. And what she said was, God loves Hamas and Hezbollah as much as he loves the Jews and the Catholics and the blacks and the this and the that. The problem, Rob, my other name, is we have free will. Free will. They choose to go on a path that doesn't fit my narrative or my desires. So it's up to me to outshine them with love, outshine them with peace. And for me, peace means please embrace all cultures enthusiastically. Another
She's
one.
writing it down.
It's another
So we
one.
got Mama Rivka-isms going on
Yeah.
here.
Please embrace
all cultures
all cultures.
enthusiastically. If I can't love somebody because of a color or a religion or a mindset, then what am I denying in myself for loving me? I have to love me first. You first next. It's the only way. One of the things that Dr. Dwyer said was, when you do a kindness, and you do a kindness every morning with your feet, you most of the time, unless you watch the news, you're smiling in your voice. And the few times you've been vulnerable to the things that did upset you, that showed me how humane and human you are. The things that upset me may not upset the next person.
Right.
Okay? But what Dr. Dwayne Dwyer said was, when you do a kindness, it makes you feel good. When you do a kindness, it makes the person you're doing a kindness to feel good.
Mhm.
And if there's somebody who sees you do that kindness, their dopamine goes up too.
I love it.
So I love it.
I love what you're saying, and so thank you so much.
Oh no!
I
Welcome
was
to the sofa.
We
You're
love
allowed.
that.
That's what we're here for.
Mama Rivka, I invited you because I value you.
I cherish you, you know that.
And so, thank you for sharing because sometimes I think sometimes we don't want to talk about the reality of our pain, the reality of what's going on. Let's just go back with our pain, because regardless of whatever we're resisting, it's because it triggers that pain. On
Events happen, and I can't change it.
Nope.
So I have to change how I choose to respond.
Yes, ma'am. So I love what you said. Resistance feeds our stress. Acceptance softens our hearts. And that's what I hear you talking about. Resistance feeds our stress. Acceptance softens our heart.
Love it.
And that's what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And
Lots
there's,
of wisdom in the room today.
yeah.
Love it.
Thank you so much. Where are we? Like, where are we time-wise?
Oh, we're good. It's only 11:52.
Holy crap. Okay.
I know. We're good.
I'm like, okay, I've run out of things to say.
Oh, we know
And
you're
I
right.
haven't.
Right.
Not me, but what you said to me that I appreciate. Yes. Why? So she brought up something. TheRealChristineTulp.com, and people. I had all kinds of reactions. Like, well, who's the real Christine? Like, why do you have to say that? Can't you just be Christine Tulp? Well, first of all, why I did that originally was there was a realtor named Christine Tulp on the East Coast. And so anytime you Googled Christine Tulp, she came up. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to be the real Christine Tulp. And the other thing that came up for me, this is so important, when the pandemic hit, my sense of self hit the floor because I'm a body worker. And at that time, what I did, if I had COVID, could unknowingly kill someone.
Right.
And so I had to really go within and ask myself, who is the real Christine Tulp? Who is that person? Who have I hidden? Are there parts I have hidden from people because I'm afraid that they won't accept me for who I am? I'm quite the woo-woo type person. I do astrology, tarot. I believe, in traditional Chinese medicine. Like, I'm quite out there, and I have often not shared those aspects of myself because of that. The resistance to. Well, I don't know if I could use the word shame, because it's not like I felt shame. I felt afraid that people wouldn't love me if they knew who I was.
So we don't feel that.
That's why I'm bringing it up. That's why I'm bringing this up. Because I'm bringing up things that can disturb the calm peace of our soul. I mean, that can disturb our peace. If I'm not really fully living my authentic self, then I'm not living in peace. I'm living something different. And so when I started the chicken feed, I was scared because, number one, I'm an introvert to beat the band. Like, it's why you don't see me here very much, is because I'd much rather be with my chickens, everybody. I love you all. I'm so happy to be here. But, and so to put myself out there like that, to really be willing to be vulnerable, to let people know who I am, and there were many times that I just would sit and cry in front of these beautiful souls on Facebook, and I had some reactions that were very unlovely to certain events that happened. And my husband, which again, we talk about Damien, I love him so much. He is a calming piece to my soul. He just is. I had this outburst one day and on Facebook, and he came in and he was very kindly said, well, I just noticed you didn't use a lot of I statements. There was a lot of you statements in that.
I remember.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you remember, because I erased it, but there were those folks, Mama Rivka being one, that got to hear my ginormous outrage outburst about this thing that I thought was going to devastate the entire planet and, ruin us as we now know it. And what I learned was I just was afraid.
Right.
So we go back to that love and fear. It just was terrifying because of I felt afraid for my safety or whatever I felt afraid about at that moment. And when I then went back and redid the feed, I was able to say, I love you, I love everyone, and I just noticed that I am feeling afraid. So if I can't own that, if I can own my resistance, and that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You can't move from it if you don't own it.
Right, and that's what you're saying, like when your friends call you out and say, hey, you willing to look at that? And your insides are like, hell no.
Yeah.
And you hang up, and then I know what you do because I love you. You think about it, and you're like, oh, damn.
Yep.
Pick up the phone,
Exactly.
and you own your shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what we all do. That's what you're talking about, Mama Rivka.
That's a big tool to have.
That's a tool right there,
right,
everybody.
because
That's a tool.
when we move past the you are the problem to the okay, I
I'm
own
feeling,
this.
I'm triggered.
Yes.
I see it this way.
I see it this way.
And
Yeah.
it's okay.
And
You
that's
see
the
it that
biggest part.
that way. I see it this way. I honor where you see it. I honor how I see
Today
it.
is a very
Beautiful,
emotional
sweetheart.
day for the whole planet
Oh, dear
right
God,
now.
it is.
It's
Right,
the
yes.
summer solstice.
Yes.
There is a lot of political stuff
Yes.
going on. There is a lot of spiritual stuff happening.
Yes.
What we have to do is begin again. It's a no. but
Just
Just
so that
we can have it.
they really
here's the
enjoy it.
reality.
You really have a lot to offer.
Here's
sweetheart.
the reality from my perspective today. I have strangers in my house while I'm here. Total strangers that have not been anywhere in my planet in my 75 little years. Okay?
Is this your friend's family?
They finally showed up.
Okay,
She
good.
died on the 1st. What's today?
Got it.
Okay, so my expectations, look, okay, that was my initial response was, where is everybody? And why am I the one cleaning out all this? And I've had a very difficult 3 weeks. Then, yesterday, the daughter showed up from Texas, her youngest daughter. This girl has no money. She got here her family didn't get together and get money to bring her. They did not act towards her like I have in the past with my family, or that I know other people have done with different. I've had more from her friends than I have from her family. And I had to sit there and make a decision today. Am I going to trust these people in my house or what? You know what? I promised Christina I was going to be someplace, and I need to get out of this house. And whether they're here or not, there's not much I could do when they are there. So what's the difference? My script was not met. So I had to rewrite it.
Right.
And
Just
the
like you
word
said.
for me is trust. So today is new moon coming. We have Rosh Hashanah tomorrow. We have Charlie Kirk,
It's
whatever.
Virgo
It's-
eclipse. There's
it's-
for those of you that
there
do
is so much-
astrology.
there
There's
is
a lot of energy.
There is
today.
a lot of energy today.
Yes.
And so I stopped. And I took a very deep breath and I went, I am whole. I am well. I am safe. I trust. I am loved, loving, and lovable. And I am one with anybody who's on a different track.
Yeah.
I love that. I am whole. I am safe.
The safe is
Yeah.
so essential for all of us to feel.
Right.
And we don't have that if we trust the outside.
Exactly.
We have to trust the divinity, God, Buddha, whatever your God source is.
Yes. Because that's where the fear comes from, right? It's the not feeling safe.
You know, thank you for bringing this up. Like, what just hit me was, it's like, hello, like, fear really comes. I got my acronym here. Forgetting everything's all right. Forgetting everything's all right. I learned that in Al-Anon many, many years ago, and it's fear is nothing more than forgetting everything's all right. And you know, we are on Sofa Sundays. You're religious science. I'm unity. you know, whether you're Buddha, whatever you are, it's a belief in a higher power.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cough. Go ahead, because I'm gonna have to cough.
All right, you go ahead and cough. It is
Excuse
a
me.
belief in a higher power, a higher source, whether that higher self is it or whatever we have decided that is. We all know that we are not the center of the universe, right? Like I used to think I was, but then I would sleep in and the earth, and you know, the earth was still spinning and the sun came up. So I knew that I wasn't the center.
I see something again. She's got
I
something
do.
on her lap.
So I read from this book a couple of times. This is Ernest Holmes out of Sillamar, and these are from his teachings. So these were like when he was teaching there in the 50s. And so this one is about, well, I'll read it. And this is transcribed from him speaking. So this isn't like written word, this is spoken word. And because of our sense of unworthiness, we condemn ourselves. This morning, Elmer Gifford told us, Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And you are your neighbor's neighbor. Never forget that. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with your neighbor but the error of false conclusions attached to us in a universal field, which acts as though the error were truth and impersonates it over and over again.
Wow.
So I was like, I mean, that stood out to me this morning. I was like, oh yeah, not only am I to love my neighbor as myself, but I'm my neighbor's neighbor, right? We are, there is no,
We are one.
there is no other.
We are
We-
one. There's
we are
nobody
one.
out there.
Yes,
As they
there's
say in
nobody out there.
There's nobody out there.
That's right. And that there's nothing wrong with your neighbor, but the error of false conclusions attached to us in a universal field. We talked about the universal field energy, about the heart-mind coherence, about the global coherence of it, right? That error that exists regardless of who, what, where, how it is in the news, out there, right? Whatever that error is not our truth, is not our being, is not who any of us are, right? That it acts as though it were true and impersonates it over and over again.
So I love this because it's where I wanted to go it's that belief in separation. The belief in separation. And you took the nail and you went, bing, thank you so much, because there is no other. It's a tough one, though. And that's not tough for me. What it's tough for me to do is see it manifesting in the other, seeing the other, if you understand what I'm saying.
They don't teach. And most people don't know how to demonstrate it. So if you think of yourself as a wholeness and one with others, then just live it.
Okay. What she's saying is if you about living.
We have
Living
to model
oneness.
we model what we want. And I don't want strife. I don't want anger. I want love. And that's what God is. And yeah, God loves Hamas. I choose not to.
You know what? Oh my gosh, Rick Moss.
Mhm.
You know
I love
Moss.
Rick.
We
Yeah.
love Rick Moss.
Yes.
Beautiful book, Drops of Wisdom.
Mhm.
And he just over and over and over drives home. Love does not include like.
Love does not include life.
It was funny. I had a session with him last Friday, and he was so cute. He's like, "Do you have my book?" I said, "No." He's like, "Well, you just really need to know the concept about, love, unconditional love versus like." And I'm like, "Wow, I'm pretty schooled on that." I mean,
You invite everybody into your house. You can like them and invite them in. You can love everybody, but everybody you love is not going to be welcomed across your threshold.
absolutely, and it doesn't mean. Oh my gosh, what is it? Compassion does not mean that I condone harming others or something to that effect. It was a really, I don't tolerate the harm of others. I mean, here we go, down that particular rabbit hole of that it's okay to, and again, I just bring it back here. Like, let's bring it back here. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Yes, Eddie.
That's interesting that you mentioned that love does not mean like, because I never heard that concept from anybody other than myself, because I connected that with my father. I loved him, but I did not like him in any way, shape, or form, and he knew that, and he knew I loved him. So I'm glad you know that I didn't invent it.
No, but it's important
Right.
that you be validated.
Right.
Because that validates that part of you. That it's like, I loved my father, but I didn't like him. I mean, I loved my father, and there were parts of him I didn't like. I mean, speaking of an anger, my father would get so mad sometimes. He was a cowboy, and he'd get so mad. One time he got so mad, and we all laughed at him. I thought it was funny. He pulled his hat down over his head and pulled the brim off his hat. And I noticed, like, after we all laughed at him, he didn't do that so much. But he was but what I want to acknowledge. And it took many, many years for me. I finally recognized he was a World War II veteran with PTSD. And then when I recognized who he was and where he was coming from, then I was able to come from unconditional love. And so I didn't necessarily like some of the behaviors. I don't like some of the behaviors I'm seeing in the world right now, but to recognize where that person comes from, like their schooling, like who taught them to be them. And just, for an understanding, I'm sure your father had his own, like why he was the way he was.
I know exactly why.
Right. And as you grow, like you said, and Mama Rivka, it's like you trusted those people to be in your house today. But there's other people, well, for the most part. But they're not moving in. But they're not, but there's other people that you'd be like, no, you're not going to come in my house.
Maya Angelou had the best quote ever, and I live by it. When you know better, you do better.
When you know better, you do better.
And
Maya
I
Angelou.
attempt to use that as one of my mantras throughout the day, because I'll start wanting to react to somebody touching something or saying something, or not living up to an expectation, or me letting whatever. And I just, you know better. So start acting it.
So be better.
That's right.
All right.
Where are we, darling?
We're there.
Look at us at
Oh, yeah.
12:09.
There we go.
We did it.
Any other?
Yeah. Any other?
And thank you.
Thank you for your participation.
Yes.
Thank you for your. I told Damien, I said, I never know what I want to say, but I know that I can ask questions.
Absolutely.
Because when we ask questions and we allow, I learned so much from others. I was a school teacher for many, many years, and just like when you ask me, I'm like, I don't know, but what do that beginning there, like, what do you think it is? Because then it helped me, like what you said, it's like, oh, okay, I can identify with that.
Richard Bach says it. The teacher teaches what the teacher needs most to be learning.
Absolutely. I
still
always taught what I needed to learn. I
There
still
you
do.
Me as well. Would you like to pray us out?
Sure.
All right.
If I could just take a moment to become aware of our breathing. We're just going to do a little coherence exercise. We're just going to take a moment to just bring your breath, just let it be a little slower and a little deeper than normal. Your in breath slower, your out breath slower. Becoming aware of the area around your heart. And as you do so, I would invite you to think of something that you appreciate, something you're grateful for. It can be a pet, it can be a person, it can be that you woke up today. Whatever brings gratitude and appreciation into that heart region. And just focus on that gratitude. Remembering that gratitude is our superpower. We just allow this gratitude and appreciation to permeate every cell and every tissue of our bodies. I'm just going to expand it a bit to mighty currents of God's healing love are flowing through every cell and every tissue of your body, every cell and tissue of my body, our bodies, the universal bodies. And as we find that peace within our heart, knowing that as we come into coherence in this room, coherence, when we're in coherence, we are vibrating at the same level of frequency as the Earth's magnetic field. And what we feed, the field matters. And today, as we move through our day, we focus on the words, "Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. I am at peace." And as we vibrate this peace into the world, we be that. We be that for global awareness, for ourselves, for each other. I just invite you to come back to your own gratitude. And I am grateful for Jeannie. I'm grateful for Sofa Sundays. I'm grateful for everyone in this room, everyone on Instagram, on YouTube, all of you that have chosen to join us today on International Peace Day. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you.
How can we support you?
Oh, thanks for asking. So, if you felt fed today by this and you would like to support Sofa Sundays, you can do it in a couple of ways. One, like and subscribe. If you are watching us on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, put little comments down. We love that. We love to see that. Also on Instagram. And you can join us on Facebook in our Sofa Sundays group. And if you'd like to give monetarily, please go to beginwithinministries.com and you can donate once, or you can become a Spiritual Church Club partner. And in order to become a Spiritual Church Club partner, you can donate monthly as an individual for $45 a month, or as a couple or family for $75 a month. So there are multiple ways to support us, and we are so grateful you're here. We're so grateful to see you.
And come down and get hugs.
And we'd love to have you in, I was getting there. Well, we'd love to have you in person, so come to Sofa Sundays if you're in the Phoenix area at 7220 North 16th Street, building A1, Phoenix, Arizona, 85020. And next week, we will have a guest on the sofa. It'll be Deb Covington joining Michelle Izugu on the sofa, as I will be in Mexico. So we will see you guys next week.
Love you all.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. Love and hugs.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.